There is no center of a murmuration.
The massive, shape-shifting cloud of 10,000 starlings wheeling over a Roman sunset has no conductor, no leader, no bird giving orders. Every single starling is, technically, winging it. And somehow, that produces one of the most organized things in nature.
Which raises a deeply uncomfortable question: what else is running on exactly zero leadership?
In 1987, computer scientist Craig Reynolds built a simulation called Boids, not birds, Boids, and gave his virtual creatures exactly 3 rules: stay close to your neighbors, don't crash into them, and match their direction.
That's it. 3 kindergarten-level instructions. And the result was indistinguishable from a real murmuration. No additional rules needed. No consciousness required. Now here's where it gets interesting and slightly alarming.
The same 3-rule architecture shows up in traffic jams, which emerge from no single bad driver. In stock market crashes, triggered by no single bad decision. In applause patterns in concert halls, where everyone somehow synchronizes their clapping without trying.
The flock is not a metaphor for how society works.
It is the actual algorithm your city runs on.
Humans are spectacular flock animals. When you see a queue, you join it because others are joining it.
When a stock price rises, you buy because others are buying. When a sentence starts with "everyone knows that," you already half believe it before the clause ends.
This is not stupidity. This is coordination hardware that kept your ancestors alive on the savannah.
It just was not designed for a notification feed.
So what happens when you try to stop a flock? Central banks have tried. Governments have tried. Content moderation teams at every major social platform are essentially employed full-time trying to dissolve digital murmurations. The results are consistent across every attempt: you do not stop the flock, you redirect it. Suppress one pattern, and the same underlying rules reconstitute it somewhere else, usually faster and considerably louder than before. There is a beautiful irony here. The act of declaring something a dangerous flock, the press releases, the warning systems, the algorithmic flags, is itself a flock behavior. You have just taught 10 million people to look at the same thing at the same time. The murmuration thanks you for your concern and has already changed shape.
The technical term for what's happening is emergence, complex system behavior that cannot be predicted from the properties of individual parts.
Water is wet, a single water molecule is not. Traffic is irrational, individual drivers are mostly fine.
The flock is breathtakingly intelligent, no individual bird is making intelligent flock decisions. Emergence is nature's method for getting something for nothing.
Which seems like cheating. And basically is. Right now, you are inside at least a dozen flocks simultaneously.
The opinions you hold track the opinions of people geographically near you with eerie statistical precision.
The foods you eat cluster by neighborhood. The words you use, the fears you wake up with at 3 a.m., all of them are flock behaviors, running on rules you did not choose and can barely see from inside the shape you're helping to make. The question was never whether we could stop a flock. The question is whether we understand that we are always already inside one and that the bird next to you is watching your wingtip.
Every platform, every market, every ideology is a murmuration in progress. The shape it takes tomorrow is not decided by whoever shouts loudest. It is decided, locally and quietly, by which direction you bank today. Strip away the mysticism and the math says the same thing: 10,000 birds, 0 generals, and a shape that moves like it has a mind. Reynolds' 3-rule architecture isn't a curiosity from 1987, it's the operating system for markets, cities, crowds, and comment sections. Emergence means the whole is not just greater than the parts, it's qualitatively different in ways no individual part can see from inside. And the most unsettling finding isn't that flocks are hard to stop, it's that every attempt to stop them is itself a flock signal. The warning label, the takedown notice, the emergency press conference: 10 million wingtips just got a direction.
We are the murmuration. We were always the murmuration. The shape it makes tomorrow is already being written by what each of us does in the next 3 seconds. What strikes us is how much energy gets spent searching for the architect. The algorithm. The bad actor. The one bird calling the shots. We find that search almost comforting, because if there's a conductor, you can fire the conductor. But emergence doesn't work that way, and somewhere we already know this. The flock has no throat to grab.
It has your throat, and ours, and the person beside you on the train deciding whether to look up.
We don't say this to be bleak. We say it because the inverse is equally true. There is no murmuration without you specifically banking left.
Which leaves us with the one question we can't answer from here: if you already know you're inside the flock, does that knowledge change your next move, or does knowing just become one more rule the shape absorbs?